Hi, welcome back. So, I'm faced with a pretty critical decision about the way this is going to progress. Problem I have is what to do with this. Now this is the cam cover, which is off the bike at the moment because I'm adjusting the cam clearances. But while this is off the bike, should I clean this up and polish it? It's a good chunk of metal and it would take a good polish. It wouldn't be hard to get that to a mirror shine. But the problem is that the rest of the bike is all a bit shabby. I noticed it when I was doing the last video, when it was clear that there was corrosion on the brackets and there was oil which had spilled from the tank. But that's not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is the frame, which, as you can see, has actually got some quite nasty bits of corrosion on it. So if I'm tidying the bike up, if I'm sorting it out, then I'm gonna have to drop the engine so I can get to the frame, so I can probably clean the frame up and repaint it. Polishing this means I have to drop the engine. So it does have to be done, because otherwise this is always going to look shabby. Otherwise that's the first thing people are going to see when they look at this project. It's something that looks a bit rubbish, and they're not going to appreciate the work that has gone into it. So the question now is when to do it. And that all comes down to the radiator. You see, at the moment, the radiator is hanging off the bike. That makes dropping the engine a little bit simpler. So the decision point, the point at which I need to decide whether to drop the engine, sort out the frame, whether to go full deep clean on this, that decision needs to be made when I decide whether I'm going to refit the radiator. So you see how this design process can lead to the strangest connections between things. The decision about whether to polish the cam cover depends on the radiator. This is the way that every project which I've done has gone. Now I don't know whether it's a process which is just unique to the way I work, or whether this is just part of a project like this. I suspect this is just typical of this kind of project. When they first roll out the shed, they're shocking. They look absolutely appalling. This was particularly true with Jason's TRX, which when it came out the shed, the colours were all over the place. I think originally it had a pair of horrible chrome Street Fighter headlights on it. And the same is going to be true of this. When it rolls out the shed, hopefully late spring, early summer, it's going to look a bit crap, it's going to look a bit rubbish. But next year, that's when I'll be able to take it to pieces and properly clean it all up. In the meantime, the dirt on the spilt oil, the dirt from the spilt oil will all be cleaned up. The brackets, which I can get to, will be taken off and given a coat of black paint. And the cam chain cover, that's just going to stay the way it is. It's alright.